Have you ever looked into an animal's eyes and wondered, what's going on in their mind? Are they just reacting, or do they have thoughts, feelings, even plans? We often assume that humans are the only truly intelligent species. But what if that's not entirely true? Imagine a crow solving puzzles more complex than a toddler could, or an elephant mourning the loss of a friend just like we do. Animals around us are constantly showing signs of deep emotions, problem-solving skills, and even self-awareness. But are these just instincts, or is there something more? In this video, we're diving into the fascinating minds of animals to uncover what they actually think. Get ready to see the animal kingdom in a way you've never seen before. Do animals actually think? When we think of thinking, we often picture complex reasoning, planning for the future, or reflecting on past experiences, things we typically associate with humans. But animals? The truth is, they absolutely think, just not always in the same way we do. Many animals process information, solve problems, and even make decisions based on past experiences. Take octopuses, for example. These underwater geniuses can navigate mazes, unscrew jar lids, and even play with objects just for fun. That's not mindless behavior. It's evidence of curiosity and cognitive flexibility. Birds, especially crows and parrots, show remarkable thinking abilities too. Crows have been observed using tools, planning steps ahead, and even holding grudges against specific humans. In fact, some researchers argue that crows are as smart as a 7-year-old child in certain problem-solving scenarios. But thinking isn't just about solving puzzles. Emotional thinking is another layer. Elephants, known for their incredible memories, mourn their dead and show signs of empathy. Dogs can sense human emotions, reacting differently when you're sad, happy, or anxious, not just because of training, but because they genuinely process social cues. Some animals even exhibit self-awareness. The mirror test, where an animal is marked with a spot and placed in front of a mirror, helps scientists determine if the animal recognizes itself. Great apes, dolphins, elephants, and even magpies have passed this test, indicating a level of consciousness once thought to be uniquely human. And then there's the question of future planning. Squirrels hide nuts for the winter, not because of instinct alone, but because they anticipate future needs. Certain species of scrub jays not only store food, but remember what they stored, where, and even when, showing memory skills that rival human episodic memory. Even simple creatures surprise us. Bees, with their tiny brains, can solve basic math problems, recognize human faces, and communicate through complex waggle dances to share the location of food sources. So do animals actually think? Yes. But maybe the real question is, are we just now starting to understand the depth of their intelligence? Emotional lives of animals. For a long time, scientists were hesitant to say that animals experience emotions. The assumption was that feelings like joy, grief, or even jealousy were uniquely human. But as research advanced, it became clear, animals don't just react to their environments, they feel deeply. Consider elephants. They're often referred to as some of the most emotional creatures on Earth. When a member of their herd dies, elephants have been observed touching the bones with their trunks, standing quietly for hours, and even returning to the same spot years later. This isn't just curiosity, it's mourning. They grieve, much like we do. Dogs, our loyal companions, are emotional experts. They don't just recognize their owners, they form deep emotional bonds. They experience separation anxiety, excitement, fear, and even jealousy. Just try petting another dog and watch how your own reacts. Their ability to read human emotions isn't just learned behavior, it's part of their emotional intelligence. Chimpanzees, our closest relatives, display complex emotional behaviors. They comfort distressed friends with hugs and pats, reconcile after conflicts, and show clear signs of empathy. In one touching case, a chimp was seen sharing food with another that couldn't move due to illness, a gesture driven by compassion, not survival instinct. But emotions aren't limited to mammals. Birds, like parrots, form strong attachments to their human caregivers. Some parrots become depressed when left alone for too long, even plucking out their own feathers, a heartbreaking sign of emotional distress. Crows hold funerals, gathering quietly around deceased members, as if paying their respects. Dolphins are another fascinating example. They've been observed carrying dead calves for days, refusing to let go. They play with each other, show signs of frustration when things don't go their way, and even appear to laugh during social play. What about animals we often overlook? Rats, for example, exhibit empathy. In experiments, rats have freed trapped companions, even when there's no direct reward for doing so. They'll choose to help another rat before taking a treat for themselves, a surprisingly selfless act for such small creatures. Fish, too, aren't as emotionally detached as we once thought. Some species show signs of stress when separated from familiar companions. They experience fear, recognize other individuals, and some even seem to prefer certain social partners over others. The emotional lives of animals challenge our assumptions. Their feelings may not be identical to ours, but they're real. Joy, grief, love, fear, jealousy. These emotions aren't human inventions. They're part of the rich, complex tapestry of life on Earth. Maybe the real question isn't whether animals feel, but how much more there is to discover about the depth of their emotional worlds. Problem solving and tool use. When we think of intelligence, we often picture humans solving complex math problems or building skyscrapers. But problem solving isn't exclusive to us. Many animals show remarkable ingenuity, using tools and strategies that reveal just how clever they really are. Take crows, for example. These birds are often called feathered geniuses for a reason. In one famous experiment, a crow named Betty bent a straight wire into a hook to retrieve a piece of food from a tube. No one taught her to do that. She figured it out on her own. Crows can even solve multi-step puzzles, remembering solutions for future use, which is a sign of advanced cognitive abilities. Chimpanzees, our closest evolutionary relatives, are masters of tool use. In the wild, they craft sticks to fish termites out of mounds, sharpen branches into spears to hunt small animals, and use rocks to crack open nuts. What's even more fascinating is that these skills are passed down through generations, much like human cultural traditions. Young chimps learn by observing and imitating older, more experienced members of their group. Octopuses, despite being invertebrates, show an extraordinary level of problem solving. They've been observed opening jars to get food, escaping from tightly sealed tanks, and even using coconut shells as portable shelters. Their ability to manipulate objects and adapt to new situations speaks to a level of intelligence that's surprising for a creature with such a short lifespan. Elephants also exhibit impressive problem-solving skills. In the wild, they've been seen using branches to swat flies, or digging holes to access water, then plugging those holes with bark to keep the water from evaporating. In captivity, elephants have solved puzzles that require them to move objects around, stack items, or even work cooperatively to achieve a goal. Dolphins are known for their playfulness, but that play often doubles as problem-solving practice. They use sponges to protect their snouts while foraging on the ocean floor, a learned behavior passed from mother to calf. In some cases, dolphins have even been trained to understand complex commands, showing the ability to apply logic and memory in ways similar to young children. And it's not just the big-brained animals that surprise us. Ants, for instance, display collective problem-solving. They build intricate nests, create living bridges with their bodies, and coordinate large-scale foraging missions, all through a combination of simple rules and communication. Even pigeons, often dismissed as ordinary birds, can recognize themselves in mirrors, identify individual humans, and even distinguish between different styles of art in experiments. What's fascinating isn't just that animals use tools or solve problems. It's how they approach challenges with creativity, adaptability, and sometimes even a sense of curiosity. Their intelligence isn't just instinct. It's flexible, dynamic, and in many cases, far more advanced than we ever imagined. The next time you see a bird using a twig, an octopus slipping through a tiny gap, or even your pet dog figuring out how to open a door, remember, problem solving isn't just a human trait. It's part of the incredible diversity of intelligence that exists all around us. Self-awareness in the animal kingdom. Self-awareness is often seen as a hallmark of advanced intelligence. But how do we know if an animal is self-aware? One of the most widely used methods is the mirror test, developed in the 1970s. The idea is simple. Place a mark on an animal's body where they can't see it without a mirror. If the animal uses the reflection to investigate or touch the mark, it suggests they recognize themselves, which is a strong sign of self-awareness. Surprisingly, only a handful of species have passed this test. Great apes like chimpanzees, bonobos, and orangutans were the first to demonstrate this ability. When faced with their reflections, they touch the mark on their bodies rather than interacting with the other in the mirror. This suggests they understand that the reflection is them, not another animal. Dolphins are another standout. They approach mirrors with curiosity, inspecting themselves from different angles, even blowing bubbles or striking poses as if they're aware they're looking at their own image. What's fascinating is that dolphins pass this test at a younger age than most primates, hinting at their sophisticated cognitive abilities. Elephants, known for their emotional intelligence, also show self-awareness. In mirror tests, they've been observed using their trunks to touch marks on their heads, places they'd never notice without a reflection. This aligns with what we know about elephants. They mourn their dead, display empathy, and have complex social lives, all signs of deep self-understanding. But self-awareness isn't limited to mammals. Magpies, a species of bird in the crow family, have passed the mirror test, surprising scientists. Unlike mammals, birds have very different brain structures, which means self-awareness can evolve through different neurological pathways. This discovery challenges the idea that complex consciousness requires a mammalian brain. Interestingly, some animals that don't pass the mirror test may still be self-aware in ways the test doesn't capture. Dogs, for example, often fail the mirror test, but they rely heavily on scent rather than sight. In scent-based experiments, dogs show signs of recognizing their own smell versus that of other dogs, suggesting a different kind of self-awareness, one that's rooted in their dominant senses. The same goes for octopuses, whose problem-solving skills and unique behaviors hint at a complex inner world. They may not recognize themselves in mirrors, but their ability to adapt, learn, and even play suggests a level of self-perception that's hard to measure with traditional tests. So, what does self-awareness mean in the animal kingdom? It's not just about recognizing your reflection. It's about understanding your place in the world, experiencing emotions, and having a sense of self that influences behavior. From elephants gently touching their reflections to dolphins admiring themselves, these moments remind us that consciousness exists on a spectrum. While humans often see themselves as the pinnacle of self-awareness, the animal kingdom shows us that this trait is far more widespread and diverse than we ever imagined. Do animals have language? When we think of language, we often imagine complex sentences, rich vocabulary, and the ability to express abstract thoughts. But language isn't limited to humans speaking words. It's about communication, and in that sense, many animals have their own forms of language. Let's start with primates, our closest relatives. Chimpanzees and bonobos don't have vocal cords suited for human-like speech, but they use a combination of vocal sounds, facial expressions, gestures, and body language to communicate. In captivity, some have even been taught to use sign language or symbol boards. A famous example is Coco the gorilla, who learned over 1,000 signs in American Sign Language and could understand spoken English. She didn't just mimic words, she expressed emotions, made jokes, and even showed grief, which hints at a deep understanding of what she was communicating. But language isn't just for primates. Dolphins are often called the talkers of the sea. They produce a variety of clicks, whistles, and body movements. Each dolphin has a unique signature whistle, like a name, that identifies them to others. What's even more fascinating is that dolphins can mimic each other's signature whistles, suggesting they can call one another by name. They also coordinate during hunts using complex vocal patterns, showing that their communication goes beyond simple sounds. Then there are birds, particularly species like parrots, crows, and ravens. Parrots are known for their ability to mimic human speech, but it's not just mindless repetition. Some, like the famous African gray parrot Alex, could understand the meaning behind words. Alex could identify colors, shapes, and even express preferences, like asking for specific treats. Crows and ravens, on the other hand, don't mimic human speech, but have incredibly complex vocalizations. They even have regional dialects, just like humans do. Research shows they can communicate about specific events, warn each other about dangers, and even remember human faces, passing that information along to other crows. Whales are another fascinating case. Humpback whales sing songs that can last for hours, with patterns that evolve over time. These songs are thought to play a role in mating, but they're so intricate and structured that some scientists compare them to human music. What's even more interesting is that whale populations in different parts of the world have distinct songs, much like regional languages. Even animals we don't usually associate with complex communication, like bees, have their own language. The famous waggle dance of honeybees is a sophisticated way of sharing information about the location of food. By moving in specific patterns, bees can tell their hive mates how far and in what direction to find nectar, using angles relative to the sun. But can we call this language? That depends on how we define it. Human language has certain features. It's symbolic, can express abstract ideas, and allows for infinite combinations of words to create new meanings. Most animal communication is more limited, often tied to immediate needs like finding food, warning about danger, or attracting a mate. However, some animals blur the line. Prairie dogs, for example, have distinct alarm calls that not only warn about predators, but also describe specific details, like whether the predator is a human, a hawk, or a coyote, and even details like the color of a person's shirt. That's remarkably sophisticated. So do animals have language? Not in the same way humans do, but they have rich, complex systems of communication that serve their needs perfectly. In many cases, these systems are more advanced than we ever imagined. While animals might not write novels or give TED Talks, their ability to share information, express emotions, and even develop cultural dialects shows that language, in its many forms, is very much alive in the animal kingdom. Memory and learning. Memory and learning are crucial for survival in the animal kingdom, and many species have developed impressive cognitive abilities that rival and sometimes even surpass those of humans in specific areas. But how do animals store and recall information? And what can their learning capabilities tell us about their intelligence? Let's start with elephants, often celebrated for their exceptional memory. It's not just a saying, elephants truly never forget. Their long-term memory allows them to remember water sources even after decades and recognize family members and old companions after years of separation. This ability is vital in the wild, where finding water and recalling past dangers can mean the difference between life and death. There have even been reports of elephants mourning their dead, returning to the bones of deceased family members years later, which suggests a deep emotional connection to their memories. Then there are octopuses, the masterminds of the ocean. Despite their short lifespans, octopuses display an incredible ability to learn through both observation and experience. Scientists have conducted experiments where one octopus watches another solve a puzzle, like opening a jar to get food, and then repeats the behavior almost instantly. This kind of observational learning is rare in the animal kingdom and suggests a high level of intelligence. Some researchers even believe octopuses might have short-term and long-term memory, similar to humans. Birds, particularly crows and ravens, are also known for their remarkable memory. Studies have shown that crows can remember human faces for years, distinguishing between people who have helped them and those who have posed a threat. What's more impressive is that they can pass this information to other crows, meaning that an entire flock can recognize and react to a dangerous person, even if they've never encountered them before. Some animals take memory to an even more extraordinary level. Clark's nutcracker, a small bird from North America, can hide thousands of seeds in different locations and recall their exact positions months later, even under a blanket of snow. Its brain is specifically adapted for spatial memory, allowing it to survive harsh winters by retrieving stored food with incredible precision. When it comes to learning, primates are at the top of the list. Chimpanzees, for example, not only use tools but also teach their young how to use them. In some communities, they use sticks to extract termites from mounds, while others use leaves as sponges to soak up water. These behaviors aren't instinctive. They're learned and passed down, which means different chimp groups develop their own cultural traditions just like humans. And speaking of learning, dogs are among the best learners in the animal world when it comes to human interaction. Many dogs understand hundreds of words and commands, with some exceptional cases, like Chaser the Border Collie, who learned over 1,000 words. Dogs don't just memorize words, they also pick up on human emotions and social cues, which is why they're so deeply connected to their owners. Even animals we don't typically associate with intelligence, like goldfish, have more memory than we give them credit for. The myth that goldfish have a 3-second memory is completely false. In reality, they can remember training exercises for months and even recognize their owners over time. But what about insects? Surprisingly, even tiny creatures like bees have impressive learning abilities. Bees can recognize patterns, navigate complex mazes, and even learn through trial and error. Studies have shown that bees can be trained to associate colors with rewards, proving they have the ability to learn and remember tasks, a trait we often associate only with higher mammals. So what does all this tell us? Memory and learning are not exclusive to humans. In fact, many animals have evolved specialized cognitive abilities suited to their environments. Some have long-term memory for survival, while others learn from observation or social interactions. What's clear is that intelligence in the animal kingdom comes in many forms, and in some cases, it's far more advanced than we ever imagined. What makes human thinking unique? With all the incredible cognitive abilities we've explored in animals, problem-solving, emotional intelligence, memory, and even self-awareness, it raises an important question. What truly sets human thinking apart? If animals can communicate, use tools, and even plan for the future, what makes human intelligence so unique? One of the most defining features of human thinking is abstract reasoning. While animals can solve problems in creative ways, humans have the ability to think beyond the immediate and conceptualize ideas that don't exist in the physical world. We can imagine alternate realities, create complex mathematical theories, and ponder philosophical questions about existence, morality, and the universe itself. Another major distinction is language, not just communication, but the ability to express abstract and complex ideas. Many animals communicate through vocalizations, body language, and even symbolic gestures, but human language is on a completely different level. We use syntax and grammar, allowing us to build endless combinations of ideas. This enables storytelling, knowledge transfer, and cultural evolution. No other species has a form of communication that can accurately describe past events, plan for the future, or express emotions and abstract thoughts in such detail. Humans are also capable of metacognition, or thinking about thinking. We can analyze our own thoughts, question our beliefs, and adapt our reasoning based on new information. While some animals exhibit signs of self-awareness, humans take it further by contemplating their own existence, purpose, and identity. Another key difference is creativity and innovation. Many animals use tools, but humans are unique in their ability to invent and refine technology over generations. We don't just use tools, we design, improve, and pass down knowledge, leading to rapid advancements in science, engineering, art, and culture. From cave paintings to artificial intelligence, our ability to build upon previous discoveries has propelled us to where we are today. Additionally, humans have an unparalleled sense of morality and ethics. While some animals show signs of empathy and cooperation, humans develop entire moral frameworks based on justice, fairness, and societal norms. We make decisions not just based on survival, but on deeply ingrained beliefs about right and wrong, beliefs that can vary across cultures and evolve over time. Perhaps the most striking aspect of human intelligence is our ability to shape and manipulate the world around us. Unlike animals, which primarily adapt to their environments, humans modify their surroundings to fit their needs. We build cities, invent medicine, and alter ecosystems. While this has led to incredible progress, It has also raised ethical and environmental challenges that no other species has had to face. In the end, intelligence in the animal kingdom exists on a vast spectrum. Many species have remarkable cognitive abilities that rival our own in certain areas. But what sets humans apart is the sheer depth of our curiosity, imagination, and ability to shape the world through thought and innovation. We are not the only thinkers on this planet, but we are the only ones capable of wondering why we think at all. So, next time you look at an animal, remember, there's a whole world of thoughts and feelings behind those eyes, maybe more than we'll ever truly understand. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tell us in the comments, which animal do you think is the smartest? See you in the next one.